everybody, it's Mel. Thank you so much for joining me today for a discussion about my character and my TBR for the Spring Equinox semester at the Aurelium Academy 2023. Hello, I'm Illyria. I'm an air earthling. Well, I'm a air earthling wildling, and I've travelled a long way from home to come to the Aurelium Academy. I did do the novice path. It was really hard, but I learned a lot along the way. And when I got to the end of the novice path, not only was I invited into Aurelium to study, but I was actually invited to become a member of the guild, the Order of the Crescent, which is absolutely amazing. I really wanted to be in that guild. It just suits my entire ethos and personality down to an absolute T. Like I just said, I am an earthling. I grew up in the wilds of Kerador, and I love flying. I love being able to use my element of wind and air to create amazing effects, and I'm so excited to be learning how to continue to use that while I learn to become a master of elements. When I got to the end of the novice path, like I said, I joined the Order of the Crescent, and they gave me a bow, which is not only an amazing weapon but also a conduit for my magic, which is just so incredible. It really helps me to focus and to channel all of my magic, and I'm loving learning how to use it, but I'm also loving that it's a weapon as well. Because I joined the Order of the Crescent as well, I was able to learn how to find and train and bond with a familiar, and I've done so, and we have such an amazing connection. She's off hunting at the moment, but I will put some images on the screen of myself and my absolutely amazing lynx Shadow. We have such an incredible bond, and it means so much to me, and I think it means a lot to her as well, although it's hard to tell with cats, but we're definitely connected. It's just been the most amazing learning experience, and I'm now officially a novice because I've done my first 2 semesters at the Aurelium Academy. They were really hard work, but it's definitely been worth it. I have learnt so much. I am really enjoying the curriculum. I'm really enjoying the classes that I need to take to be able to learn to be a Master of Elements. I'm really enjoying all of the opportunities that I have been given. I'm super excited for this next semester to come, which is coming up April next month, and I'm really excited to continue my studies to become an apprentice Master of Elements, which is the next level that I'll be working towards. I've been building slowly some guild reputation points as well. It was a little bit difficult for me with all of my other commitments, what with learning to use a bow, with learning to bond with Shadow and different things like that. It was a little bit tricky for me to go on some of the other quests that were offered to us throughout the breaks when we weren't at school. However, this year I feel that I've been able to leave the academy and do some extra side quests, as it were. I was fortunate to be able to finish a series which led me to a castle because I managed to read a book with building on the cover. I did then fight a wizard. I have now read a book with over 4.3 stars on Goodreads. So I'm coming into this semester at the academy with some really great things under my belt. So yeah, this semester is the semester where like I said, I will become an apprentice Master of Elements, and I wanted to share with you some of the things that I will be learning about, some of the things that I will be reading in order to further my education and become a Master of Elements. So that's what I'm going to do with you now. I'm going to let you know what books I'm going to read and what subjects and focuses they will fulfill throughout this next semester at the Aurelium Academy. To continue my studies and to become eventually a Master of Elements, I need to do these subjects. First of all, I need to do elemental studies. This was probably my favourite subject of last year, and I'm super excited to see what I need to read for it this semester. So for elemental studies this semester we are focusing on botanic controls, which means that I need to read a book with flowers on the cover. So I will be reading The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I will just read the blurb to you. Once upon a time, a man who believed in fairy tales married a beautiful, mysterious woman named Indigo Maxwell Castaneda. He was a scholar of myths. she was the heiress to a fortune. They exchanged gifts and stories and believed they would live happily ever after. In exchange for her love, Indigo extracted a promise that her bridegroom would never pry into her past. But when Indigo learns that her estranged aunt is dying and the couple is forced to return to her childhood home, the House of Dreams, the bridegroom will soon find himself unable to resist, for within the crumbling manor's extravagant rooms and musty halls lurks the shadow of another girl, Azure, Indigo's dearest childhood friend, who suddenly disappeared. As the house slowly reveals his wife's secrets, the bridegroom will be forced to choose between reality and fantasy, even if doing so threatens his marriage or his life. So I think this sounds absolutely amazing. As you can see, it has flowers on the cover. I think this is such a pretty cover as well, and I'm really, really excited to read it. This was a gift to me from Liz, who is one of my subscribers. Thank you so much, Liz. I really, really appreciate it. It's actually got deckled edges, and I've never had deckled edges before, and I don't know how I'm gonna go reading it, but I really like it. The next subject that I will need to study is shape-shifting, and we are focusing on form, on specifically the form of the wolf. So I need to read a book with a wolf on the cover, or in the title, or as part of the author's name. So for this one, I will be reading The Fifth Elephant. This is by Terry Pratchett. As you may be able to see, there are wolves on the cover. They're just down the bottom, but there are definitely wolves in the illustrations on the cover, so I think this will count. This is the fifth, I think, book in the Watch series, which is one of the series within the larger Discworld series by Terry Pratchett. The Discworld is a fantasy world that is flat, disc-shaped, and travels through space on the back of 4 elephants, who in turn travel through space on the back of the great HUN, who is a sky turtle, and this is the legend of the fifth elephant. So yeah, this is a reread for me. I have really, really enjoyed this book in the past. It's been a long time since I read it, so I thought what a perfect opportunity to read one of my favourite authors and one of my favourite series. So yeah. I also will need to study animal studies. This semester we are focusing on heads and tails. So for this I need to flip a coin, and that will tell me whether I am reading a non-fiction book or a fiction book. So if it's heads, it's non-fiction. If it's tails, it's fiction. I do have 2 possibilities, so I'll just show them to you. So if I get non-fiction, I will be reading Dark Emu by Bruce Pascoe. This is a book about Australian Indigenous people prior to white man coming to Australia, and talking about how some of the ways that the Europeans talked about the Indigenous people and the assumptions that they made were incredibly wrong, and trying to right some of those wrongs. And then we have, for fiction, if I get that, The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. I think this is an historical fantasy. It follows some suffragettes but also witches, and I have heard nothing but amazing things about this book. Alex E. Harrow is an author who I read one book from before and absolutely loved, which was the 1,000 Days of January. So I'm very excited to potentially read this one. I'm going to stand back and see how I go. Alright. It is Tales. So I did get Tales, which means I'll be reading The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow as my fiction book. This was a Christmas present to me from my friend Michelle, so thank you so much, Michelle. Like I said, I absolutely loved the 10,000 Days of January, so I'm very excited to read this one. I also need to study astronomy, and for astronomy this semester we are focusing on the eclipse effect, which means I need to read a book with 2 letters in the title. And for that, I'll be reading Before the Coffee Gets Cold. So as you can see, there are a lot of E's in this title, by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I've heard amazing things about this book as well. It is a really sweet little book about time travel, and you can go to this cafe and time travel, but you have to do it before the coffee gets cold. That's what I have heard. That's all I know about it. It's quite short. I did try to choose some books that weren't super long at this time to give myself a little bit of a break. This is my book club, in real life book club pick for March and April, and I need to read it in April, so fits in perfectly. The next subject that I will need to study is conjuration, and we are focusing on spirit binding spells. Editing Mel will insert a clip of the book recommended by a friend. Unfortunately, she forgot to grab it when we were organising to film this video, so it's not here for me, Illyria, to tell you about. Hello, it's Editing Mel here. I just jumped in to let you know that I've made a decision about the book recommended to me by a friend. I'm sort of cheating a little bit I'm sort of cheating a little bit because I'm going to be reading Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie. This was not recommended to me specifically by anyone, but Agatha Christie in general has been recommended to me by a number of different people, like my mum and Ellie and yeah, other people as well. So that is what I'm going to do there, partly because it's quite little and partly because I can then use it for Readathon as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing that for. But yeah, that was editing there. And then the final subject that I will need to study this semester is restoration, and the subject we are focusing on is occult cures. So for this I need to close my eyes, shuffle and point. So I have a few books here that I'm going to do that with. I'll just grab them. So while I am at the Earl Academy, another part of the world is doing a thing called the Eurovision Song Contest. Helen from Helen's Bookhaven is organising a Eurovision Readathon, which starts mid-April, so midway through semester, and ends mid-May. And so the books that I potentially will be reading from are some of the books that I'm going to be reading for the Eurovision-a-thon. So I've chosen some of those books that I've decided on, and this will tell me which book I will be reading in the second half of the month. So first up we have The Skylark's Secret by Fiona Valpy. Then I have The Iliad by Homer, Murder on the Links by Agatha Christie, and Enclave by Claire G. Coleman. So I'm going to close my eyes. I'm going to give these books a little bit of a shuffle. I'm going to hold them up like this, and then I'm just going to point to one, and that's the book I'll be reading. The Skylark's Secret. I did the first couple of chapters as a trial chapter and I was enjoying it, so I'm happy that was chosen. I do need to read these other books though, so there you go. That is everything that I wanted to share with you today. I am so excited about this next semester. I'm hoping to learn a lot of things and yeah, get to know a lot more people and just have a really great time. So thank you for coming along and letting me share all this with you. Massive thank you from G from Book Roast for putting this all together again and just coming up with absolutely fantastic RPG readathon, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. Says Mel, I'm now Mel. If you would like to leave me a comment, then please do so down below. Will you be joining me in the Earl Academy? What are you studying towards? What books will you be reading? Let me know all of that in the comments below. If you'd like to leave me a comment but you don't know what, then leave me something kind of magical or mythical. All of my social media details are listed in the description below, so if you'd like to go and follow me on any of those other platforms, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, I would absolutely love it if you would subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And yeah, like I said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I will see you next time.